In this video, I'm going to be reviewing the Mount Street Printers leather notebook. I'll go over the specs, I'll do a paper test, and I'll tell you what I like and don't like about this notebook coming up. Blake here with Blake's Broadcast. On this channel, I review fountain pens, paper, and ink, and as always, I put links in the show notes in the description below. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps out my channel. Alright, let's get on with the review. This is the Mount Street Printers leather notebook. And Mount Street Printers is a stationery company. They specialize in bespoke stationery. They have a lot of different printing methods. So unlike Smythson, which are mainly engravers, they do many different types of techniques. And as we can see here, they do have one royal warrant to, I guess, Smythson's, I don't know how many do they have. 3, I guess. This is the Prince of Wales, although I have a feeling it's King Charles now. They have been around since 1981, and I visited their shop in Mayfair, which is a very fancy part of London. They have a lot of neat stationery in there. This comes in this kind of fun box here. I really like the bright red color. Now this size is called medium. They do a large. I'm not sure that they have a small, at least I didn't see one. Oh, this is 6x8. They do a large that is an 8x10. And just for reference here, this is a Papermind Mitsubishi bank paper notebook, which is a standard A5 size. So you can see it's a little taller than this and a little bit skinnier. But anyway, this is closest to the A5 size is the medium. Retail price on this is $91, and I believe the larger size is $117. They have this Rutland grain calfskin cover. We do have gilt edges. We do have headbands, which is something that you don't get on a Smythson Panama, which is what this notebook I think is supposed to be like. There's another company called Leathersmith out of London, which does notebooks that look just like this, but have a blue paper, more reminiscent of Smythson's own featherweight paper, although it is significantly thicker than the featherweight paper. But I'd like to review one of those at one point. Now, what's interesting about this, I think, is the price. These are made in England, and they are very similar to the Panama notebook. So a similar size Smythson Panama would be the Soho size, which is 5.5 by 7.5 inches. That notebook's $265, so that's a lot, whereas this is $91, which is still really expensive for a notebook, but it's a third the price basically. So yeah, I mean, I think this is really compelling. Going on to the back, we have the Mount Street Printers in gold foil on the back here. Opening it up, we have this marble paste down. It's printed. You look at it up close, you can see it is printed, so it's not really real marbled paper, which would have been nicer, but it's not the end of the world. You can see made in England and for Mount Street, which is where they're located. And then the pages are this light cream color with blue ruling. My biggest issue with the Smythson Panama is the blue paper. I just don't like writing on blue that much. So for me, this is very compelling. You do get a blue bookmark, which is nice, although that kind of got folded. It's not finished on the end, so that may fray in time, but I did find that the binding is definitely on the tighter side, like trying to find the stitching in the middle of a signature. It's done in a way that's pretty tight, so it's not like the most lay flat, but I found it to be pretty comfortable to work on. I will say, in terms of the binding, the Smythson, just in general, just feels a lot more flexible. Not that this isn't, but I will say that the binding does feel, I would say, better on the Smythson, but this is still very good in my opinion. In terms of the paper performance, now when I was in their store, they did let me test one of these with some fountain pens, and it did a pretty good job. And I would say, they don't tell you what the paper weight is, but my guess is this is like 70-ish. It feels pretty lightweight. Now looking at the face of this, we do see bleeding on the Pilot parallel pens, so that's not great. The rest of the fountain pens look good, and I would say everything else on here looks pretty good in terms of the face of it. Now going to the back, we can see that those parallel pens did bleed through, but the rest of the fountain pens did quite well. The Oto Fude ball, we can see that did spot a bit. Same with the Pilot High-Tech Point, the Uniball Air Micro, so roller balls definitely bleed. Gel pens, a little bit. Pentel Energel 1.0 millimeter did see some bleeding there. And then the Troublemaker pens did cause problems. The fine liners seem to look pretty good to me. It didn't come through even when I really pushed on it, so very happy actually with the performance. Even though I wouldn't say it's the best in the world in terms of fountain pens, it's very good, especially for how light it is. You definitely do get ghosting because it is that lighter weight, but overall I've found it really nice. For me, compared to the Panama is put together better. The paper is more special, but I prefer writing on a lighter color paper, and this is a third the price, so I'm very happy to be using this. I think this is honestly a great alternative. I'm curious to try the one from the Leathersmith in London, see how that compares. And I'm also kind of curious to try one of the bigger Panama notebooks from Smythson, the Soho, just to see how the binding really compares when you start getting in that bigger size. I have a feeling the Smythson is just going to be really, really nice. So what are my pros and cons for the Mount Street Printers leather journal, notebook, whatever they call it? I really like the build quality of this. It feels really nice. We have this textured leather calfskin cover, gilt edges, headbands, and very thin fountain pen friendly paper. It's just a really nice package, and it's a third the price of the similarly sized Smythson Panama, which is their Soho size. A while ago when I did my Smythson review of the Panama, I was told in the comments that it's Smythson, not Smythson, but I have been to Smythson in London and it's called Smythson. So just getting that out of the way there. I'm not saying it wrong like I say Lamy wrong or whatever. That one I am saying right. Now, in terms of cons, it's still really expensive. This is still a $91 notebook, but it's not the $265 Smythson Soho. So in that sense, it's better, but this is still a lot for a notebook. I also don't like the printed marbled papers. Like, can we really not get real marble paper in here for $91? But I guess I can't complain too much. I mean, the Smythson is just more featherweight paper. The binding is on the tighter side. Like, you do get 16-page signatures, and maybe it's not fair to say that it's tight. It's just tighter compared to the Smythson, which is, what this is kind of emulating. So this, to me, feels a bit better. And the cover and just the whole experience, I think, does feel better on the Smythson, although I do much prefer the light paper on this. Other cons, well, it only comes in two sizes, this 6x8 and a 8x10, but that's pretty much it. Do you guys have this notebook? Do you like this notebook? Let me know in the comment section below. And if you like this video, please hit that like button. And if you want to see more fountain pen, paper, and ink videos, please hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much, and until next time.